We're here today at the 7th annual Mason-Dixon Willys Jeep Gathering in Homestead, Union Mills, Maryland. And I'm talking with Mike, who is the originator of this get-together. And hey, Mike, just tell us a little bit about why you started this.
Well, first off, I mean, I've loved Jeeps and Willys Jeeps ever since I was a kid, and probably like you and a lot of other guys, I grew up watching Combat and Rat Patrol and MASH, things like that on TV, so I kind of never grew out of playing with Jeeps. I visited a lot of other Jeep shows in other parts of the country, and I said, man, there's nothing in this middle Atlantic region for people who own vintage Jeeps. Wouldn't it be neat to have something close to home? So I approached the folks here at Union Mills Homestead, and I said, you have a really beautiful facility, beautiful grounds here. Would you be interested in hosting this event? And they thought about it a little bit, and they said, well, they're historic vehicles, and this is a historic location. Let's give it a go. So 7 years ago, they took a chance on me. We had probably like 20 Willys Jeeps here the first year, and now we've grown to average around 50 or so vintage Jeeps each year, and we have Deuce and a Half and other kinds of military vehicles showing up now, and it's just been a really, really great turnout. But 7 years ago was just an idea and a dream.
It's really turned out great. And this all started from your love of Jeeps, and right behind us is his 1951 Willys Jeep CJ3A, which he restored himself. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this Jeep came from a farm auction in Gettysburg, Maryland, Gettysburg, PA, excuse me, at a auction house. The Jeep was originally a farm Jeep on a farm in Braddock Heights, Maryland. And what I was told was the farmer didn't have health insurance and he needed money for his cancer treatments, so they were selling off pieces of old equipment on the farm. This was found in between two outbuildings, so the roof on both buildings were coming down, and all the rain for years and years was pouring into this Jeep, which didn't have a top on it. Anyhow, it was rusted out. Billy Joe Bob at some point in time took some 2x4s and fashioned them into the floorboards, so he didn't fall through, but they were literally floorboards. But anyhow, I looked at it at the auction, and I saw on the back of it that had a power takeoff. And I was like, well, this is kind of rare, because only the farm Jeeps came with a power takeoff. And I'm scratching my head, and I know that power takeoff's worth about 500 bucks. The rest of the Jeep isn't. So anyhow, I went to the auction, and I had my hands in my pockets for a while, and the bidding went up. I was only going to spend $500 on it. Anyhow, I ended up walking away spending $530 because I was off with about half an hour, 45 minutes of work, switching out the gas, the oil, the coolant. We got it running. And little did we know it was running on 2 cylinders. There was 0 compression in the second and the third cylinder. They were scored so bad, but it ran. I drove it around on the first and the fourth cylinder, and that's just a testament to these old engines and how hard they work. Started collecting parts for it, doing my research, because my dream was to turn it into a little bit of an off-road vehicle. Then when I found out how scarce the CJ3A farm Jeeps were, I didn't have the heart to jack it up and put monster mud tires on it or anything like that. I started doing my homework, and then I wanted to do a restoration. So the color's not true. The yellow for Willys was a lighter yellow called Michigan yellow, but this is a modern Dodge yellow, and when I go down the road, it doesn't go anywhere fast, so I wanted people to see it before they ran into me.
Well, it is certainly bright, and it shows up real well. It's beautiful, beautiful Jeep. Tell us a little bit about the restoration of it.
Well, we took this thing apart. Some of it almost did on its own. There were pieces of angle iron behind the seats. I thought they were just there to prop up the seats, but they were literally holding the sides together. So when we took the angle iron out, the sides of the Jeep went flop like this, and I was like, oh my God. So we took as much of the original metal as we could and salvaged it. And then we had to get other parts that were replacement parts, new old stock parts. I've been spending some time over the years to get replacements. This is a reproduction canvas top. These are obviously new reproduction tires, but I've been tracking down a variety of new old stock parts, old parts. The side steps back here, some guy had 4 of them in his garage. Grandpa took them off the old Jeep, and I got 4 of them for 40 bucks and made lots of friends who wanted to have the extra pair, but I gave them to my buddy down in Carolina. But anyhow, it's been an adventure. Going on eBay, Craigslist, farm ads and things like that, looking for the spare parts, and have a friend who has a carburetor shop, and he calls me up one day, Mike, you'll never believe what this woman brought in today. A new old stock Willys carburetor. And I was like, bless you. I went over to his shop, and I gave him 75 bucks for it, and I had a brand new off-the-shelf carburetor, which I swapped out and put in here, and it runs like a top. So, you know, there's a story behind every part. Even the rope on the front. There's a guy here at the show today who's a retired Navy guy, and he knows how to tie knots. And a couple years ago, I asked him, could he make one of those tow ropes for me? So anyhow, the following year, he shows up, and here's a 20-foot section of rope that's looped in on the ends and braided just like they did in the old days for pulling them out of the mud, whatever. So every little part, you know, I found a tag topper right here. This I found on eBay for $7. It's from the old Willys Jeep dealership in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So I'm like, how appropriate, you know. The inspection sticker on the windshield is an actual vintage inspection sticker from 1951-52. So tried to get truthful with it and honest and have some original type parts to it, but I took some liberties and painted it a different color. So, but it's my Jeep, I had to make it my own.
Well, other than that, it's pretty much all original.
Yes, there's serial numbers on all these old vehicles, and as you know, a lot of them were hand stamped with hammers and punches. Pretty much everything underneath of this vehicle is vintage to 1951, which sometimes is kind of unusual. Willys Jeeps, as you know, you can swap parts in and out. So a lot of times you get what we call Franken Jeeps. You know, there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And that's another reason why I ended up going on and restoring this, because there were so many original parts. I didn't feel right, you know, not making it whole again.
And that's really unusual, because so many times if you broke a part, you replaced it with something out of either the junk yard or the local dealership, and find something that's all matching date codes on it. That's unusual.
Oh,
it's
it
truly
is unusual. I mean, this Jeep, when I found it, was truly an ugly duckling, and now it's the Swan. So
well, it turned out beautiful. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Glenn.
And
take care.
Hopefully we'll be back with you next year.
We look forward to it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.